Let's go Mets. Let's go Mets. Let's go Mets. It's your boy Flobo. Welcome back to What's Up Flobo, episode number 21. I was actually going to today off, but I got a little bit of that spark of that inspiration. But the good old team from my hometown, I want to talk to you about that in just a bit. I just want to say thank you for two things. One, to checking out the show, What's Up Flobo. 21 of these things, we're rocking, we're rolling, positive responses all around by actual people. I know people like to say that, they fake it. Oh, everyone loves my project, or I've been asked to speak about this subject. You'll see that a lot on social media when someone just wants to start a conversation on their own. They'll say something like, people have been asking me about this, so let's talk about it. But I can say legit, in this case, people have been asking me about What's Up Flobo and what it is and what I'm trying to do with it. Trying to get out my name out there, trying to see what I'm all about so you guys can see that I am a real person, just a guy who does the wrestling thing or just writes things, all that stuff. I have people that have asked me as well. Actually, if I do write things besides comedy, about the last episode, I do. I have some novels and I have some short stories over at Amazon. So just put in my name, Flobo Boys, or I think my author name is F. Flobo Boys, and then my things will come out there. But we're not talking about that. The second thing I want to talk to you about is, I can't believe I'm saying this, but it is almost time for baseball, which is like my sport, I guess. You know, I like sports casually. I like to watch it. I like to sit down with a brewski and watch the game. I try to hesitate by saying I'm a sports fan because a lot of times I get like sucked into like sports conversations, and a lot of times it's kind of boring. You know, there's a few talking points on the main sports talking shows, and I think a lot of fans regurgitate that, or especially in baseball, everyone's all about sabermetrics now, all about these stats that there's no way you can keep straight. So I always feel kind of intimidated. So even though I'm a sports fan and I love sports, I love watching it, to coin a phrase from the comedian legend Jerry Seinfeld, I do root for laundry. I love my orange and blue Mets, the Nets, the Texans, Manchester City, LA Galaxy. When I'm in the game, I'm watching the game, I'm in the zone, tactics, strategies, all that's great. Just don't corner me and ask me about playbooks and things like that. Even though I'm a former athlete myself, I played football in high school. But the thing is, why the Mets are so important to me is, besides the fact that I have a history of underachieving like yours truly, is that, take a step back. In baseball, in Major League Baseball, there are two baseball teams that operate out of New York City. I'm a Brooklynite myself. There are the Yankees, which I don't hate them as much as a lot of my brothers and sisters in orange and blue do. If I see someone with a Yankee jersey, I'll leer at them. But I won't be like, boo, how dare you like this team? Because they do have the wins. Personally, I hate it when fans bring up the wins because those 27 rings are great, but 20 of them are dang near artifacts. Am I right? So they are the world-class standard. If you don't know much about baseball, you know about the New York Yankees. You can find a Yankee hat from here to Tokyo to Zimbabwe. Everyone knows about the Yankees, or Jay-Z or Fred Durst wearing the Yankees in street culture. That's kind of the thing. But in my experience, and this is someone who's lived in Florida, who's living in Los Angeles, who's traveled to Europe a couple times, in Italy and in Europe and England and all that stuff, and the Caribbean. When you find someone wearing a Mets hat, when you find someone wearing the interlocking Serif NY or my man Mr. Met, they have some connection to that city of New York directly. It's either I'm from New York, my dad taught me very, very young when he was from New York and he moved out to where I was from about the Mets, or I was an immigrant, or I was on vacation to the United States. I stopped and caught a game, and the game I caught were the New York Mets. Somehow, some way, that's become like a tribal symbol. I see my hometown in you, and you see my hometown in me. It's kind of like this unspoken bond. I will see strangers on the side of the road, and I'll say, let's go Mets. And I'll say 7 out of 10 go either, or, yeah, I guess. But it's cool because I love doing it because I know you have a connection to this giant city to some people, but it's really, really just an archipelago of neighborhoods. And it's interlocking. It isn't like LA where it's a string type deal. So I would say LA is more of the archipelago. New York is more like a patchwork, a quilt, or anything like that. But I'm so excited for the new season. We showed promise last year. The managerial search urged on for days. I'm not sure if you guys follow me over on Twitter. I put my hat in the ring to manage the New York Mets because I said, why not? Carlos Beltran can't do it, stepping down with that scandal in Houston with the stealing sign scandal. So I said, I'm going to put Flobito's name in the mix. They didn't pick me. They went with Luis Rojas, who seems to be a solid choice. Time will tell about that. I actually don't really hate Mickey Callaway, the last manager we had, as much as most fans do, but he did make some critical mistakes that ultimately cost us the 4 wins that kicked us out of the playoffs. Can you believe that? As up and down as last season was, we were so great for so long, and there was a period about a month and a half where we were just trashed. People were giving it up. In fact, I got a survey in Los Angeles from the Mets organization back in June saying, hey, please fill out the survey how we can improve, and we'll give you 2 free tickets to the game. That's how bad it was. And I did. And then after the All-Star break, we got so good, the playoffs seemed like it was totally attainable until the end. And you really can't play catch up in baseball because there's so many games. It's really about trending. It's really about momentum and having a solid team day in and day out with movable parts. You can hot swap when guys get injured or called up or called down. And we ultimately play for that. You can't be streaky in that. You can be streaky in football. There's only 16 games. You can lose 3 in a row, then win the next 7. And people are like, oh, wow, playoff bound. But you really can't do that so much in baseball. And we totally paid for it. So that aside, I'm excited. 2015, which was the last time the boys made the World Series, losing in 5 games to the team that should not be named from Kansas City, was close, man. It was 4 wins. We were totally going to be it. I would have loved them to win another World Championship in my lifetime. And we're now closer than ever before. I've always said if the Mets win, I will tattoo Mr. Met on my backside. No, my body, not my backside. That'd be kind of weird. I don't understand tattoos on their butt because how can you see it? What's the point of having a tattoo? You can't see it. I'm all about my tattoos. You can see either straight on or with a mirror over the shoulder. If you guys want me to hear about my tattoos, that would be for another episode, another time. But yeah, excited. Every year I try to catch a game when they're in town, either in LA or Anaheim or most likely San Diego, because San Diego, you can make a weekend out of it. I love San Diego. I will retire there someday. So I'm excited, looking forward to the season. Congratulations, Luis Rojas. I'll be rooting for you. That's the one team I checked my scores adamantly, oh man, I can't believe it. We're just a few weeks away from the great American pastime. Now let's be real about baseball. And that's how I'm going to bring it all to you guys, because I don't want you guys just to tune in to listen to me gush, right? Baseball is in a little bit of a crisis. It's America's pastime, and for too long, they just kind of threw their hands up and said, America's pastime. We're not trying to improve the game. We're not trying to make it more fan-centric. And it seems to be a harder sell nowadays, right? With these days of quicker or shorter attention spans. Baseball needs a little bit of freshening up, and they're trying, albeit slowly, right? And I'm so glad, because I think I'm one of a dying breed. The people my age and younger are not this fanatical about a sport. It's like maybe football, maybe UFC. I'm a big wrestling guy. But for me, my bond to baseball isn't about the sport itself. It really was an identity from my hometown, and that got me into the game. You can't bank on that when you're in towns that doesn't really have the same kind of. Oakland does. I've been there. They're cool. LA is great. But I personally don't see that in Miami. Personally, I don't see that yeah, man, baseball, woo, kind of thing. And it's kind of with you. You may have your own empire, whatever that may be. Maybe it might be a side hustle. Maybe that might be a side business, or maybe you're just the man or the woman at your job. But every so once in a while, you got to check in with the community, check in with the people that have faith in you and say, hey, what am I doing? How can I work on something? What else can I work on to really give back to the people that supported you, people that really appreciate what you're doing? And that's something I always try to do when it comes to my growth. Because I know from my perspective growing up, the Yankees were not fan-centric at all. You had to have the money to go to the games. Didn't have Cracker Jack. They had Crunch and Munch. There was never a discount. Parking was that thing, because They were the Yankees were the attraction. You were paying premium dollar to see that. The New York Mets didn't have that luxury. It was really scratch and claw. You saw a lot more brown faces in the seats. You saw a lot more brown faces on the field. There were discounts. There were family nights. There were like meal deal pricing. There was discount tickets. One time I got good seats because David Wright, the captain at the time, was number 5. His jersey number was 5. So they gave away $5 tickets. Like that is the way to get fans in the door. Obviously, when they're in the door, you want them to buy the hot dogs and the merchandise and be into that in the ecosystem. But the idea is you really want to give people an on-ramp to what you're offering. And that goes for you too, working on your your novel or something. If you're working on a book, give people a chapter. Give people a live read. Give people a visual poem or a music video or something. Give people little bits of nuggets they can be into your world. Because frankly, you might end up being a fan for life. Like this guy, like that dude, the mayor of New York City himself, Mr. Met. You know, this is What's Up, Flobo. Thank you so much for checking this out. I am going with these because I love them. I love talking about it. I love interacting with all you guys. Just let me know who you guys want me to talk about in the future. I'd be more than willing to oblige. The website is flobito.com. Twitter is @FloboBoys. And Instagram is @FlowBito. Holla at me, man. And until next time, play ball and peace out.